So I wanted to take a few leaps with this video to talk about two very interesting PlayStation 5 stories. One of the stories is focused on how the PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 generational jump will be the biggest in gaming history. And the second story focuses on God of War's studio head discussing the rumored sci-fi IP for the PlayStation 5. First, let me know how many of you have actually finished God of War 2018. I've personally finished every God of War game, including Chains of Olympus and Ghosts of Sparta. I really love the franchise, but let's focus on God of War 2018 here because that's the franchise going forward. So comment below, have you finished God of War 2018 or not? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, before we start the main stories of this video, I wanted to just let people know, as I've done before, PlayStation Now's October update will include Days Gone, Medieval, Friday the 13th, Trine 4, The Nightmare Prince, Battle Prince Madeline, and Steel Rats. Days Gone leaves the service on January 4th, 2021, so get on that. It's an amazing content-filled game, so this is all coming to PlayStation Now's October update. Another quick update and reminder, Ghost of Tsushima's multiplayer mode, Legends, will be out on October 16th as version 1.1 of the game. It will bring 2-player story missions, a 4-player survival-based mode, raids, and New Game Plus for the main campaign. This is a huge update for the game, and it's all free content, so that's amazing to see. So get on that on October 16th. Now, with those two updates to the side, let's dive into the actual first story of the video. God of War director talks about the rumored sci-fi PlayStation 5 space IP. So this one hurts a little bit, but let's just read the story first. Reading from PlayStation Lifestyle, God of War director Cory Barlog has put a damper on fan expectations by denying that he's teasing a new game. Speculations were running wild after hawk-eyed Twitter users noticed that Barlog updated his profile. They assumed that he may be hinting at a new project because his cover photo, profile photo, and location are all space themed, and Sony Santa Monica was once rumored to be working on a new sci-fi project. Comicbook.com published an article covering the conversation, prompting Barlog to respond with the following: narrator, he's not. To be fair to the fans, there were unsubstantiated reports earlier this year that Eric Williams, the developer who built Kratos, will be directing the next God of War, and Barlog will be working on the long-rumored sci-fi IP. So this comes from Barlog's tweet earlier this year in 2020 stating, "First tweet of the new decade, Eric Williams, remember that name." But to continue reading, it also doesn't help that Barlog teased the recently revealed God of War Ragnarok via Twitter over a year ago, which only a few of us noticed. Later in 2019, Barlog published a mysterious tweet and gave his profile a space-themed makeover, so it's hard not to wonder if this all means something. Since Barlog has denied that he's teasing a new game, there's nothing to speculate on further. However, we won't be surprised if he's simply trying to throw fans off. So, my personal thoughts on this is I don't know why, but I still have a gut feeling they're working on something else over there at Sony Santa Monica. With over 300 employees at the studio, could they all really just be working on God of War Ragnarok? Maybe, but then you have studios like Insomniac Games who have around the same number of employees according to LinkedIn, and they're developing Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ratchet & Clank, Spider-Man Remastered, and probably have the beginnings of Spider-Man 2. I guess we'll see if Cory Barlog pulls a David Jaffe and comes out at one point to actually just announce this new sci-fi space IP. But you guys let me know if you think Sony Santa Monica is working on another project outside of God of War Ragnarok or not. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the second story of the video, PlayStation 5 will provide the biggest leap in gaming, even bigger than 2D to 3D, which is a big thing to say. So this comes from Borderlands studio head Randy Pitchford, who basically points out that data throughput is going to be such a game changer with the next gen consoles, and how people won't understand this yet because launch titles are still held back by the current generation, and next-gen games still use similar game development methodologies to past generation games, stating, "I think customers will realize how profound of a difference it is to have the throughput capability that these new platforms bring. It's just absolutely unreal. The leap there with PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X is the biggest leap I have ever seen in the history of console generations. I'm saying this including the leap from 2D to 3D. It's going to change the way we think about every bit of our experiences. However, it's going to be hard to see that in the initial launch titles because a lot of the launch titles are games that were endeavored upon before. Frankly, there are a lot of ports and games that have already been available on existing platforms that are being reimagined with these new platforms. Still, I am super pumped about what it means for Borderlands 3 on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. We've expanded that a lot with the upped resolution and frame rate to 4K and 60 frames per second, and added in 4-player split screen support, which is like rendering 4 copies of the game at once on a single console. It's freaking cool, man. I'm really excited for gamers that are going to get to experience Borderlands 3 on the next gen platforms. I think it's going to be a really big moment. So it's interesting to see how many developers are more so excited about the data throughput capabilities of these next-gen consoles. I'm not sure what to say about Mark Cerny, but he clearly saw the future somehow and realized that data processing was the true next-generational leap in gaming because of how it fundamentally changes the history of game design forever, since it removes the need to force design to be crippled by speed of loading data. This is now gone next generation. I'll also agree in that with really every generation, the launch titles are eclipsed by what comes a few years later, and of course what comes at the end of the generation. So let's see what happens in a few years. I'll say this though, to compare it to the jump between 2D to 3D, that's pretty huge. I have to think Randy has seen some things coming in the next few years that are just mind-blowing, and I can't wait to see them for myself. But you guys let me know if you think next gen will be a bigger leap than 2D to 3D. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button as it always helps, and subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is to body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with Leapfrog Wars Begin. Obviously, this is a reference to the Leapfrog toy, the educational toy, but also a reference to the leap from current generation to the next generation. And if you're excited for all of that, destroy the comment section with Leapfrog Wars Begin, and I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.